Information security is often explained through the three main principles of security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These are also called the main objectives or key properties, and in fact these have many names, but we will call them the key principles. This is more commonly known as the CIA triad. Sometimes these three key principles are expanded to include more concepts like accountability, possession, authenticity, and utility. And sometimes you can hear people talking about the 5 key principles or the 7 key principles. But we will just go with the 3 most basic ones, the most important ones. The first of these key principles is confidentiality. Confidentiality means that data or information should only be accessible to those who have the right for it. In practice, this means that we have to have a way of keeping secrets from other people. Accessibility to data is not a binary thing. There can be different rights assigned to different people, such as the right to view, the right to edit, or the right to destroy information. The tool to implement confidentiality is called access control. Access control ensures that a user only has certain privileges. Of course, before this, the user needs to be identified, but we will talk about authentication another time. The key questions surrounding confidentiality include: who decides on these rights? Who will supervise the process of deciding on the rights? And who will supervise the supervisor? Integrity is an interesting data property. What it means is that data should remain unchanged throughout any processing and transit or transmitting. Basically, it means that if you save some data, it should not be possible to be modified by someone else who doesn't have the right to do so. It also means that a receiver should get a message in the shape, size, and form that the source sent it. What integrity means in practice is, well, let's think about what harm could an incorrect or a manipulated data cause. Let's say in a bank transaction, what happens if the fields for account number and due amount get swapped around? Key questions around integrity are: is this piece of data original and not manipulated by someone during transmission? And is the piece of data created when the timestamp says it was? We also have to take into account that metadata should remain unchanged. Integrity is sometimes confused with correctness, and it really has nothing to do with correctness. For example, imagine a politician gives an interview to a newspaper, and later it turns out that facts of the statement were false. In this scenario, it would mean the integrity of the text or the statement is still intact, but the correctness of it is another matter. So it just means that data itself and the message is intact in terms of integrity, but it's not correct as the politicians didn't know what they were talking about. Availability is an easy data property. Basically, it just means that information should be available to those who need it and to those who have access to it. Information should also be available fast enough. If we need information within 5 minutes, but retrieval takes 10, then we have a problem with availability. Also, another thing involved with that involves availability is that getting information should be easy enough. We can see sometimes if data is stored behind many locks. Nowadays, this is common practice in systems that use two-phase verification or two-phase authentication methods. The key to a good security design is applying all of the three key principles. Unfortunately, there is no one-shoe-fits-all solution. The goal of making security plans or implementing information security is to make a suitable compromise so that all three key principles are in the right balance. Therefore, information security is part of organizational risk management. We should see that security is not black and white, but in fact it's many shades of gray. And sometimes this compromise might involve assigning value to data. So data or information should only be protected as much as what it is worth. To properly understand these three key principles, let's think of an information resource. This could be an important file or a list of covert operatives for a foreign country, or an apple pie recipe that is a family secret. Could literally be anything. So we know from previous experience how this information resource is secured. We should also know how the resource or its security mechanism is aligned with the three core principles. Are we protecting confidentiality? Are we ensuring integrity? Are we ensuring availability? Another way to approach this kind of a thinking exercise is to think of something close to you. Think of your home or some other familiar place. What sort of information security measures do you have in place, or what could you have in place, and how are they related to the core principles?